ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 21, the instructions by Maharaj Pruthi. We are in the section text 45 to 52, where we are seeing the citizens are praising Maharaj Prithu. So we are at text 50, 50. नात्यद्भुतमिदं नाथ तव आजिव्य अनुशासनम् प्रजानुरागो महतां प्रकृति करुणात्मनाम्. Translation.
Our dear Lord, it is your occupational duty to rule over your citizens. That is not a very wonderful task for a personality like you, who are so affectionate in seeing to the interest of the citizens because you are full of mercy. That is the greatness of your character. Purport. A king's duty is to give protection to his citizens and levy taxes from them for his livelihood. Since the Vedic society is divided into four classes of men, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, their means of livelihood are also mentioned in the scriptures. The Brahmanas should live by spreading knowledge and should therefore take contributions from their disciples. Whereas a king should give protection to the citizens for their development to the highest standard of life, and he can therefore levy taxes from them. Businessmen or mercantile men, because they produce a little profit from this, whereas the Shudras, who cannot work as either Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, or Vaishyas, should give service to the higher classes of society and be provided by them with a supply of the necessities of life. The symptom of a qualified king or a political leader is mentioned herein. He must be very merciful and compassionate to the people and see to their prime interest, which is to become elevated devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Great souls are naturally inclined to do good to others, and a Vaishnava especially is the most compassionate and merciful personality in society. Therefore, we offer our respects to a Vaishnava leader as follows. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Only a Vaishnava leader can fulfill all the desires of the people, Vancha kalpataru. And he is compassionate because he is the contributor of the greatest benefit to human society. He is Patita Pavana, the deliverer of all fallen souls. Because if the king or the head of the government follows in the footsteps of the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, who are naturally leaders in missionary work, the Vaishyas will also follow in the footsteps of the Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, and the Shudras will give them service. Thus, the entire society becomes a perfect human institution for combined progress to the highest perfection of life. Hare Krishna.
The citizens, they are glorifying Prithu Maharaj, that our dear Prithu Maharaj, you are extremely affectionate to citizens. Although you are as our king, your occupational duty is to rule over the citizens, and it is not a very wonderful task for personality like you. Why? Because you are so affectionate in seeing the interest of the citizens, and you are so much full of mercy. And this is all because of your great character. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains it is king's duty to give protection and levy taxes, and which was absolutely was not a nature of Prithu Maharaj, especially levying the taxes. Sometimes you find somebody who is very reluctant to do that activity. Of course, he will do that activity excellently well, but it is against the nature of that personality, the innate personality, the innate nature of a personality. So here, Prithu Maharaj's personality was always being affectionate, always being full of mercy, but he was supposed to chastise, he was supposed to, as the matter of being a duty of the king. And then Srila Prabhupada explained, sometimes, you may see father who may try to chastise the son or daughter, but unable to chastise sufficiently because that is not the duty, that is not the nature, inbuilt nature. Sometimes, some people are quite smiling and are unable to chastise also. So the whole task is upon mother and something like that. So this is the case with Maharaj Prithu. Srila Prabhupada explains there are 4 classes of men and how they are to be formed. Again, nothing on birth. Janma karma guna karma vibhagashaha. And their means of livelihood are also mentioned. Brahmanas are supposed to spread knowledge and take the contribution as from the disciples as Guru Dakshina. They cannot demand the fixed fees. Right. So no, it is Guru Dakshina. Kshatriyas are supposed to give protection. They can extract taxes. Businessmen, they produce services and the products. And the Shudras, who are unable to do previous 3 activities, they will work on behalf of all these 3, and they are given with simply the necessities of life. And this is how the scientific division of society was. However, artificially we may discreate society. Point is that end of the day, people will remain with that only. What one is supposed to be entitled as per his guna karma vibhagashaha. Right. There was recently a story about hundreds of farmers in Noida, and suddenly these people they got crores of rupees. Their land was taken for some extension of a project. Likely it was the some government project, and suddenly they got crores of rupees. Somebody got 8 crore, somebody got 10 crore. I don't know, within 1 year's time, they constructed huge buildings. Everybody was having Thar and Bullet and everything like that. 2 years down the line, their interview was come. They said that sir, Thar है हमारे पास, Bullet है, लेकिन उसमें डालने के लिए पैसा नहीं है. Right. So this is how people will come back to their raw nature, even if they become suddenly rich or otherwise. Right. And then, what to speak of a personality like Prithu Maharaj, who is a very compassionate Vaishnava king, and such great souls, Prabhupada says, are naturally inclined to do good to others. And the Vaishnava especially is most compassionate and merciful in the society. Why? Because he's taking extra austerity to spread this knowledge. And therefore, that is the main mission. Prabhupada says, such a Vaishnava is called as Vancha Kalpataru because he can fulfill all the desires. He is Patita Pavana, he is the deliverer of the fallen souls. And such Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are naturally the leaders in the missionary work. Right. So it is very important that the missionary aspect should not be lost. Now, what is the missionary aspect? Missionary aspect simply means spreading the knowledge, getting more people to follow, spreading the knowledge to the far and wide, as far as wide as we can. And this is how the society is to be arranged. Text 51. अद्यनस्य मनस्पार त्वया उपासित प्रभो भ्राम्यतां नष्टदृष्टीनां कर्मभिदैव संयतैः. Translation.
Translation: The citizens continued, "Today you have opened our eyes and revealed how to cross to the other side of the ocean of darkness. By our past deeds and by the arrangement of superior authority, we are entangled in a network of fruitive activities and have lost sight of the destination of life. Thus, we have been wandering within the universe. Purport. In this verse, the words Karmabhir Daiva Sangyattai are very significant. Due to the quality of our actions, we come to the association of the modes of material nature, and by superior arrangement, we are given a chance to enjoy the fruitive results of such activities in different types of bodies. In this way, having lost sight of their destination in life, all living entities are wandering in different species throughout the universe, sometimes getting birth in a lower species and sometimes existence in higher planetary systems. Thus, we are all wandering since time immemorial. It is by the grace of the spiritual master and the supreme personality of Godhead that we get the clue of devotional life, and thus progressive success in our life begins. Here, this is admitted by the citizens of King Pruthu. In full consciousness, they admit the benefit they have derived from the activities of Maharaj Pruthu. Hare Krishna.
Now the citizens are praying that, my dear, our dear Prithu Maharaj, you have really delivered us from ignorance. That today you have opened our eyes and revealed how to cross the other side of the ocean of darkness. Adya nastamasa param. Okay. So, oh Prabhu, they are saying, we are otherwise being bound in the network of fruitive activities, losing the sight of this, the real swartha, that is. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains the word karmabhir daiva sannitaihi. So what is the karmabhir daiva sannitaihi means? That we perform the activities, and based on the activities, there is a network of reactions, and one gets caught in the activities and the reactions, and thus karanam guna sangasya sad asad yoni janmasu. Right. So fruitive results of the activities leads to different types of bodies. Ideally, every living entity in the material realm begins his journey as a Brahma or a very great demigod. But Karanam Gunasangasya, slowly the living entity is in touch with material nature and is going through the different species, Brahmand Brahmite, different planets, planetary systems. And unless he comes in contact with the spiritual master, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, Bhakti Lata Beach. Right. So otherwise the condition is very precarious, and that's how the verse is very similar to Devavati speaking to Kapila Muni. Tamasad, that Dushparasya Parakam, that very similar verse where citizens are speaking to Maharaj Prithu. Text 52, this is the final verse of this chapter. Namo Vivritta Satvaya Purushaya Mahiyase Yo Brahma Kshatriya Kshatramavishya Vibhartidam Swatejasa. Translation.
Dear Lord, you are situated in your pure existential position of goodness. Therefore, you are the perfect representative of the Supreme Lord. You are glorified by your own prowess, and thus you are maintaining the entire world by introducing Brahmanical culture and protecting everyone in your line of duty as a Kshatriya. Purport. Without the spread of Brahmanical culture and without proper protection from the government, no social standard can be maintained properly. This is admitted in this verse by the citizens of Maharaj Prithu, who could maintain the wonderful situation of his government due to his position in pure goodness. The word Vivruddha Satvaya is significant. In the material world, there are three qualities, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. One has to be raised from the platform of ignorance to the platform of goodness by devotional service. There is no other means for elevating one from the lowest stage of life to the highest stage, but the execution of devotional service. As advised in the previous chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam, one can raise himself from the lowest position to the highest simply by associating with the devotees and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam regularly from their mouths. Shravanam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Rudyantastho hi Abhadrani Vidunoti Surutsata. When one engages in devotional service in the first stage of hearing and chanting, the Lord who is in everyone's heart helps the devotee in cleansing his heart. Bhagavatam 1.2.17. In gradual cleansing process, one is relieved from the influence of passion and ignorance and is situated on the platform of goodness. The result of association with the qualities of passion and ignorance is that one becomes lusty and greedy. But when one is elevated to the platform of goodness, he is satisfied in one condition, in any condition of life, and is without lust and greed. This mentality indicates one's situation on the platform of goodness. One has to transcend his goodness and raise himself to the pure goodness called Vivriddha Sattva, or advanced stage of goodness. In the advanced stage of goodness, one can become Krishna conscious. Therefore, Maharaj Prithu is addressed here as Vivriddha Sattva, or one who is situated in the transcendental position. But Maharaj Prithu, although situated in the transcendental position of the pure devotee, came down to the position of Brahmana and Kshatriya for the benefit of human society and thus gave protection to the entire world by his personal prowess. Although he was a king, a Kshatriya, because he was a Vaishnava, he was also a Brahmana. A Brahmana, as a Brahmana, he could give proper instruction to the citizens, and as a Kshatriya, he could rightly give protection to all of them. Thus, the citizens of Maharaj Prithu were protected in all respects by the perfect king. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta Purports of 4th Canto, 21st chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Instructions by Maharaj Prithu.
Finally, citizens, they are concluding, Namo Vivriddha Sattvaya. We offer our respectful obeisance unto you, Maharaj Prithu, who is Vivriddha Sattvaya. What is Vivriddha Sattvaya? Highly elevated in the Sattva Guna. Right. Purushaya Mahiyase. Yo Brahma Kshatramavishya. Oh, you are Brahmana also, you are Kshatriya also, you are Vaishnava also. All these things put together. Vibhartim Idam Svatejasa. And by your prowess, you have protected us from everything as a Kshatriya and Brahmana and Vaishnava. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, without the spread of the Brahminical culture and without the proper protection by the government, we cannot really maintain the social standard. And what is the spread of Brahminical culture means? So the spread of Brahminical culture means increase in Sattva Guna. So increase in Sattva Guna. Then there are three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And one has to be raised from the Rajoguna and Tamoguna to Sattva Guna. And one of the easy way to do that is associate with the devotees and hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. Right? Barasatra. What is Barasatra? 1.2.17. Shrunvatam swakatah Krishna punya shravana kirtanat hridayantasto hi avadrani vidunoti surutsatam. And then slowly what will happen? Prabhupada says here, Shrunvatam, by regularly hearing and chanting the holy names of the Lord, hearing the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, devotee's heart starts cleansed, right? Shrunvatam. And then what will happen because of this? Tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhadayaschaye cheta etairana viddham sthitam satve prasidati. And this is how the effects of Rajogun and Tamogun will come down. What is the effect of Rajogun and Tamogun? That is the lust and greed that will come down. Now, when the Grihasthas are hearing about this, that lust and greed coming down, and there has to be a finer balance in the life of a devotee, because, the regulative principles, especially the fourth regulative principle we talk about, the standard in the house is the least of the partner. Let that be very clear, right? So it is not that one person is so strict that other person is going out and doing some vyabhichar. One should be very clear about this. Whatever we are hearing, nowadays, I tell people that, you be inspired at your own risk. Because we may be inspired from this class or that class, but end of the day, you have to take the decision and you have to be responsible for the results of that decision. Right? And therefore, some people, when I deal with them, I tell them that do not get excessively impressed by somebody. Ye Prabhuji ne bola, Prabhu, I have to do. Not like that. Of course, with all great intention and all the respects to all the senior personalities at their lotus feet. But the point here is that whatever decisions we are taking in our life, we only are responsible. Right? the consequences of that decisions also will come in our life. I know, a couple of people recently who were having, problem with this thing, tada rajas tamo bhava. One partner is wanting to do, another partner is quite detached, thinking that he is spiritually advanced and elevated. But let that be very clear, right? You know, the standard in the house, especially regarding to this, is the lowest standard of the partners, right? Because when we get married, it is the duty of the marriage to satisfy on all these fronts. And I hope, these indirect references work. So this is how the Vivruddha Sattva, the Sattva Guna is raised. And then Evam Prasanna Manaso, Bhagavad Bhakti Yogita, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, Mukta Sangasya Jayate, Vidyate Hridaya Granthis, Chandri. So Dharma is very simple. One has to perform Swakarmana extremely well. That's what Prithu Maharaj has shown in his example. And Prithu Maharaj has also shown in example the elaborate instructions Maharaj Prithu gives that please be engaged in the service of the Vaishnava. And the greatest service to the Vaishnava is hearing, what his message, right? Like, there are many great sannyasis. And when we hear them, when we are hearing their class directly or online or recorded, we are doing a great service. That is Shrunvatam Swakata Krishna. And this is how one will come to goodness, and slowly from goodness one will transcend goodness to come to Vivriddha Sattvaha, or the pure advanced stage of pure goodness. And finally, citizens, they are so happy with Maharaj Prithu. They are saying that you are the real Vivriddha Sattva, my dear Lord. You are a king, you are a Kshatriya. By maintaining us, you are like our mother, you are like our father. By instructing us, you are a Vaishnava. And you have given us all around protection by your Svatejasa. And this is how the citizens, they beautifully praise Maharaj Prithu, and we conclude this chapter. So this is instructions by Maharaj Prithu. We have some time. Is there any question? Otherwise, we will move to the next chapter. So we move to next chapter, chapter 22. Prithu Maharaj is meeting with the four Kumaras. Right. Now it is so glorious that even the Supreme Personality of Godhead predicted that, oh, my dear Prithu, soon you will be going to meet, the four illustrated personalities. So this is, what's predicted by the Supreme Lord. And just look at this. The Lord is also feeling, oh, Maharaj Prithu, such a great fortune that you are going to meet such great personalities as the Chatushkumar. So this chapter is divided into four sections. Text 1 to 16. This is about Prithu's rule, reception of the Kumaras, and inquiries from them. How Prithu Maharaj ruled the universe, and how he exemplary way he received all the Kumaras. Why? Because he realized there is a rarity of a darshan of such great personalities. And therefore, it is very, very fortunate for such, for anybody, and especially the householders. And then Maharaj Prithu is so excited to see Chatush Kumar. He's not asking also. He's saying that there is no need to ask the welfare of such personalities because you are already situated in, the understanding of the Supreme Brahman, and you are already very close to the Supreme Lord. Please tell me how to perfect my life. So directly he goes to question. And he says that the Lord, in your shape, the Lord only mercifully travels to give association to the householders. Text 17 to 40, Sanat Kumar is answering Prithu's questions in detail. Right. So Prithu Maharaj asks questions, and Kumaras, Chatush Kumar, they are very happy with the qualities and the inquiries of Maharaj Prithu. And then they begin to answer. More prominently, the Sanat Kumar is giving answer 17 to 40. Then 41 to 48, Prithu Maharaj praised Chatush Kumar. And then 49 to 63, there is a Prithu Maharaj's glorious rule and the various qualities. And this is how this chapter is divided into 4 sections. If we see the next chapter will be Prithu Maharaj going back home, back to Godhead. And, and then next chapter is we are going to conclude with Prithu Charitra, right? So now we come to the first section, text 1 to 16, where Prithu Maharaj is going to exemplary reception by Maharaj Prithu, and Prithu Maharaj is going to praise the Kumaras and various inquiries from them. So now we come to text 1. Maitreya Uvacha Janeshu Pragranastevam Pruthula Vikramam Tatropam Jagnur Chatvara Surya Varchasaha. Translation.
The great sage Maitreya said, while the citizens were thus praying to the most powerful King Prithu, the 4 Kumaras, who were as bright as the sun, arrived on the spot.
Yeah. So while the citizens were praying to Maharaj Prithu, Surya Varchasva means the personalities who are as bright as the sun, the 4 Kumaras, they arrived at the spot. This is Surya Varchasva. Text 2. Stamstu Siddheshwaran Rajam Vyomno Vyataratorchita Lokan Papan Kurvanam Sanugoscha Rakshitan. Translation.
Seeing the glowing effulgence of the 4 Kumaras, the masters of all mystic power, the king and his associates could recognize them as they descended from the sky. Purport. The 4 Kumaras are described herein as Siddheshwaran, which means masters of all mystic power. One who has attained perfection in yoga practice immediately becomes master of the 8 mystic perfections: to become smaller than the smallest, to become lighter than the lightest, to become bigger than the biggest, to achieve anything one desires, to control everything, etc. These 4 Kumaras as Siddheshwaras had achieved all the yogic perfectional achievements, and as such they could travel in outer space without machines. While they were coming to Maharaj Prithu from the other planets, they did not come by airplane, but personally. In other words, these 4 Kumaras were also spacemen who could travel in space without machines. The residents of the planet known as Siddhaloka can travel in outer space from one planet to another without vehicles. However, the special power of the Kumaras mentioned herein is that whatever place they want to would immediately become sinless. During the reign of Maharaj Prithu, everything on the surface of this globe was sinless, and therefore the Kumaras decided to see the king. Ordinarily, they do not go to any planet which is sinful. Thank you.
So, this Chatush Kumar, seeing the glowing effulgence of these 4 Kumaras, comes to Siddheshwaran Raja. These Kumaras are called as Siddheshwaran. Why? Because they are the Siddhi, they could travel without any arrangement. The masters of all mystic powers. And suddenly they descended from the sky. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, Siddheshwaran means master of all mystic powers. That whenever one attains perfection in the yoga, these 8 mystic perfections will be visible in such a personality. And these are Ashtasiddhi, we have seen previously, that Anima, Lagima, Prapti, Kama, Vashaita, so on and so forth. And the Kumaras are Siddheshwaras because they attained the perfection. And one of the perfection is traveling in the space. Like we see Devarshi Narada and many great sages, they could travel. Prabhupada says this is a very ordinary thing to travel in the space for the residents of Siddhaloka. Now, how it is very ordinary? It is very ordinary even in this planet. One can see the birds traveling, right? Birds are flying from one tree to another tree, one building to another building. So traveling in the sky is not such a big thing. Birds are also flying. And similarly, there are Siddhalokas. They can attain the Siddhi and they can travel from one planet to another. But the speciality about Chatushkumar is that wherever they went, the place immediately became sinful. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani. Such personalities, they create tirthasthan by their own visit. So, so of course, they will also go to a place which is, but this is the potency of such personalities. They can create tirthi kurvanti tirthani. Ordinarily, they will not go to any place which is sinful. And we see that, out of extreme compassion and extreme mercy, they may go to a place which is sinful, just like Srila Prabhupada visiting Bauri. And Bauri is, became a tirthasthan, by creating so many wonderful devotees and the worldwide mission like it's called there. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur
Thank you.
Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.